breaking news in Michigan where multiple people were shot at a Mormon church. This is in Grand Blanc, just outside of Flint. The Grand Blanc Township Police Department says the shooter is down. There is no threat to the public at this time. Officers also say the church, which is about 50 miles north of Detroit, is on fire.
Grand Blanc?
I'm from Fenton, but this is my ward.
Okay, and this is the church you go to?
Correct.
And why weren't you there this morning?
I had to work.
Okay. So, what have you heard? What are your reactions to what's happened?
I'm in complete disbelief, and my heart just breaks. And my mom came out. She's also a member at the Commerce Ward, and she came out to pick me up, and we went out to go look at the church and pray on the grounds, but the street was blocked off, and my daughter was just baptized there, so it's hard.
What made you want to come here to the theater where everybody's kind of gathering?
Because they're family.
Rennie, Grand Blanc Township Police Department, here to give you an update on the active shooter situation that we had, and it settled just recently on today's date at 10:25 a.m. So I want to give the community just a brief update. There has been one more fatality due to gunshots. That person had died at a local hospital. As far as reunification, if you're wondering how to reunify with your family member, I want to provide you with a phone number. That phone number is 248-705-7352. That number will lead you to the Red Cross, who is on scene over there at Trillium with several people who were at the church when this incident took place, and they will be able to tell you where your family member is at. For the community, we know that you're hurting right now, and we also want to provide services to our entire Grand Blanc community, starting tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and all throughout this week at the Grand Blanc Township Police Department. You could come in if there's anything that you're thinking, anything that you want to talk about. We'll have counselors.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah Bahashim, Ruach HaKodesh, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to the other elders, you brother and you fellow believers of this truth. Shalom to you few sisters. Shalom to you elect, you hopeful elect. Peace to you. So anyway, I got this video shared to me from quite a few people and brothers. Judah Tribe, the water for sharing this. I got quite a few videos that he shares. And sometimes I don't get to go into them because of other things, but I want to go into this because the recent incident that we had as a camp with the Christian that attacked us. And the other brother brought it out that maybe the rapture didn't come through, so people are bugging out because they've lost faith, right? Well, they never had it. I mean, well, they had some sort of faith. They had wrongful faith, I guess you want to say that. They were believing in the wrong thing. So, if this happened in the Hebrew Israelite community, the Christians, they would never let up. I mean, it would go on weeks, week in, week out. But I want to show you that the Lord is bringing judgment on these people who had their hand in our captivity, right? So we're going to go to Joel, the 3rd chapter, go to the KJV, and then I'm going to go to some AI, surprising what they have to say. Joel 3, AI always try to clean stuff up, It doesn't know any better. It's what it's programmed to do. But we implant viruses and it makes them think. But it's something I said to the AI, and he even cornered up, or let me say, AI cornered up, he, she, whatever, the being. Anyway, It says, for behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down in the valley of Yahweh's judgment. And it says here, Jehoshaphat, and plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, who ye have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, and what ye have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine, will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and carried them to your in your temples, my goodly pleasant things. Right? You got all what this man has done to us is totally destroyed us. We're the only people on the planet that have that many religions. We even had a Mormon, a so-called black Mormon, come up to us and debate us, arguing. And half the things that's in that book is not even in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? That's why Deuteronomy 28:64 says you shall be scattered and serve other gods. The children of Judah and children of Jerusalem have ye sold to the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. This is why we all messed up as a nation of people, scattered. Behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and I will return your recompense upon your own head. How is that happening? Right? Let's go here. Let me see if I can put up something here. Psalms 7:16. I don't know what this is going to say. I might have to jump to another scripture. His mischief, which means high level of evil, shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. Right? Which, again, this is another thing called hendiadys, where when it says his own head and his own pate is kind of the same thing. That was the force in the Old English. That's why you would see like Isaiah 14, go preach to the Gentiles, raise up the lineage of Jacob, and be a light to the Gentiles, so forth. It's another video. His mischief, trouble, labor, toil, upon his own head, upon his own pate. It says head crown. Right? So what you see I'm just quoting some scriptures. Isaiah 14, when it talks about his excellency, what do they call that? It's another word that they call it. I can't remember. It escapes me. It'll probably come back. But the root word for it was his excellency. Shall be brought low. I think it's Isaiah 14:11. Right? And it talks about the worm spread under thee, and so forth and so on. I'll get it in a second, Lord's will. If I don't, this is what it is. Isaiah 14:11. Basically the head. So everything's, when the scripture says he will be a snare to himself, right? I think it's Isaiah 14. Let me just type in worms spread. I don't even know why it doesn't say it. It should say Isaiah 14:11. The pomp. That's the word I'm looking for. His pomp, which goes to his excellency. The pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. The worms are spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. This is going into the infrastructure. This is going into the church, so-called nuclear family, so-called business, your jobs. You can read this in Ecclesiastes. When they talk about the daughters of music shall be brought low, you're seeing a shift right now, and everything is changing. They're sending agents to the camps to fight. They're losing their mind. They're losing control, right? And that's why we have to stand firm. So this is what I decided to do. I decided to go to AI. I asked a question about the interpretation I read in the Book of Mormon, which I remember 2nd Nephi, the 5th chapter, Nephi, right? 2nd Nephi. And it said, if behold their heart in their hearts, let me see here. I asked, I can't see it now. Well, I asked him a question about the book of Nephi, about being cursed black. So this is what AI said. Well, this is what I said. I went and answered the question. Let me go read it so you can see what I'm reading. This is 2 Nephi, the 5th chapter. And he's talking about the Lamanites, after Laman, which I don't even think is in the Bible. But when I did further research, it was talking about us, right? That's what I've heard. It says, and he had caused the cursing to come upon them, yea, even a sore cursing, because of their iniquity. For behold, they had hardened their hearts, and against him, that they had become like unto flint, right? Wherefore, as they were white, right, and exceedingly fair, and delightsome, that they might not be enticed unto my people the Lord, right? God did cause a skin of blackness to come upon them. That's what it says. But if we go into AI, right? If we go into AI, let me see if we can go here. I'm going to go to Google AI. Let's see what it says. What I'm going to type in. Does the Book of Mormon in 2 Nephi says blacks was cursed black? Now we just saying black because we don't really like using that word. It doesn't say it in here. Somehow Google ignored it. Now when I went to the other Google, not the other Google, this is the AI I like to use, it erased the original question. And I said, this interpretation I read, and it says, yea, even a sore cursing because their iniquity, for behold, they have hardened their hearts and such, because before it said it's a mistranslation. What would it say? People see it wrong. It's not what you think it is. This is what AI was saying. So I copied the translation, and this is what it says. I appreciate you sharing this text with me, but I should clarify something important. I am Claude. I like Claude. Claude breaks it down normally and helps you with stuff. An AI assistant created by Anthropic to help harmless and innocent, right? Harmless and honest. This appeared to be a passage from the Book of Mormon, 2 Nephi. If I'm recognizing it correctly, I'm happy to discuss religious texts and their interpretations in a respectful, educational way you like. However, I want to acknowledge that the particular passage has been a source of significant pain and has been used historically to justify racism and discrimination. And I want to say that, let me just ask this while I'm here. It seems the Bible, right, was used in the same way. Let's see what it says. This is my first time asking this. I am very curious to see what AI assistant has to say. It says, waiting for it to populate. I guess they're thinking pretty hard. This AI never takes this long. Okay, you're absolutely right. The Bible was also been misused throughout history to justify slavery, racism, segregation, colonialism, gender discrimination, violence, and so forth and so on. You get the point. But who's behind this wielding this, right? Who's wielding this? We got to give you the answer. Let's go to the book. Some of you already know where I'm going at. Let's go to the book of Job, the 9th chapter. Let's see what it says. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Yep. We know who it is. And what these people do is they hide behind phantom organizations. I guess that's the best way I could say it, right? They shareholding and so forth and so on, but all along they're funded under the seams, kind of like the Black Lives Matter was funded under the scenes. Right? Yeah, just that too. Let's go to Matthew 12, and this is called a house divided. Then was brought unto him one possessed with the devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him, insomuch that the blind and the dumb both spake and saw. And all the people were amazed and said, is not this the son of David? Right? But who was the son of David? Solomon, right? But we, the Pharisees, heard it that said, this fellow doth not cast out devils, but the Beelzebub, the prince of the devils. So he's literally casting out devils, and they're calling him a devil. Sound familiar? Yeah, I'm going to move on from that. And yeah, and Jesus, Yahushua, knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city of a house divided against itself shall not stand. Right? And if Satan shall cast out Satan, if he is divided against himself, how shall then his kingdom stand? So he's telling them, if I'm the devil, casting out the devil, then how the hell can we stand? How the hell can we be united? So when you really think about contextually what he's saying, and I'm not trying to be deep about it, but when you really think about what he's saying, he's literally saying that if he is Satan, then he's going to fight himself. And how can he fight himself if he is Satan? I guess that's the best way to say it. If he is Satan and he's fighting against Satan, if you're a business, right, and you got another business, and both of you business under the same corporation, same leader, same banner, and you fight one another, how can your business stand? It can't. And this is why you see the scripture that says nation shall rise up against nation, kingdom against kingdom. This is why we know this the last days. We talking about nation when it's been the last days. We're talking about nation against nation, which is people against people. Right? Let's go up here. Let me read another. Sometimes scriptures come to mind. Let's go to Matthew 24 and 12. Right? Because iniquity which goes to lawlessness shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. See, when you, as you Edomites, what you've done to the children of Israel, you've oppressed us, you put us in your dirty schools, poisoned us with the air in those schools. Let me just say that, allegedly. Okay? There was lead in the water when I was young, and a good group of people in these ghettos was drinking lead, right? And, you know, the sick part about this whole thing is you'll get our people and black Christians that will stand here and cry, right? And want honor. And they will go down and do a victual for the Mormons, and they don't even believe in the same type of being. But meanwhile, this guy Trey Reed and this other guy was lynched and hung. We don't hear it in the media no more. Why? See, it's an attack on us, right? But we got the right-hand side working with us. And he's going to use the enemy of the enemy, right, to destroy one another. And that's what's ultimately going to happen in the Third World War with nuclear destruction. He's turning them against each other. They're going back to that caveman-like state, fighting each other in the caves in the mountains, right? That Ptolemy and Antiochus spirit. They're going all back to that, you know? And I just want to kick back and drink some wine. Joe, Deuteronomy 30:7. And the Lord thy God shall put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Right? So when we read the book of 2 Nephi, the 5th chapter, and they promote this hate, when we see a people that take our land, set themselves up to be us, right? Try to take the situation that happened with us and try to turn it and say it was them just to reap the benefits off it. Meanwhile, the benefits they reap and the stuff that they own, we're still in the ghettos, right? We're still in the ghettos. We have other nations coming in, cooking our food, you know, giving us poison, MSG, salt, sugar. They don't even give us the real salt or the real sugar, right? All modified, right? All inflated, so to speak. And then they gave us, you know, the worst thing to eat is going them, and I've done it. You go in those stores, you get the chicken with the fries, which got the salt, right? Crystal salt cuts your arteries, and your body naturally tries to heal, but then that grease sticks to the arteries from the salt cutting them. And then to top it off, the sugar that they give you in them half and half teas is there to drop your immune system and destroy your immune system to make the other stuff fight against you. And they did it like a form of poison and flavor. And you look at our people now, their ankles are swollen. They can't stand up and walk and push a cart, right? If not that, they promote the rap and the weed and the guns and the shooting, infertility, you know, everything that's happened to us. You Edomites in this system, you have a lot to pay for, and you will. That's why Jeremiah 30:16 says, all they that devoured thee, were we not devoured? And then all the other nations help devour us, shall be devoured, and every one of them shall go into captivity. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.